This is not us making this up. This is actual reporting of Jerry Jones talking about being a general manager. I've done it all, okay? So I have an inordinate amount of confidence that, if anybody can figure out how to get this shit done, I can figure out how to get it done, John said. I've been there every which way from Sunday. And have I busted my ass a bunch? A bunch. And there's nobody living that out cutting and out shooting that can give you a bunch of times they busted their ass. So hell no. There's nobody that could fucking come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can. Now, Jerry, congrats on talking your shit.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Think about the decades and decades of the people and fans saying Jerry needs to get his hands out of the team's business. Ever since Jerry has started running things, we haven't been good. He got rid of Jimmy, and then nobody's able to check Jerry. And Jerry's just got his little fingers and everything. He's making decisions. He's drafting from the yacht. He's cutting people. He's negotiating deals. He's calling plays sometimes. Shit, he will get out there and throw the ball himself if he wants to. That's what people say. That's why the Cowboys haven't been good. So if this is a new interview or if this is Clarence Hill Jr. writing about something that happened back in the day, it's like, shout out to Jerry Jones just finally telling everybody.
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. What's up, Joe Boo? As well as Bucky Beaver. And as always, I want to say thank you all. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and keep commenting, even if you think I'm a jackass. By all means. You won't be the first, and you won't be the last. So I'm sitting here this morning. We have our game against the Ravens, of course, tomorrow night at 7. We have 20 days until we take on the Philadelphia Eagles. And Jerry Jones is still screwing with Micah Parsons. Yeah. And we have Jerry Jones who's loving the limelight. It seems to be mostly doom and gloom. I want to say it's kind of surprised. Well, I want to actually, I don't want to give credence to this, but I want to play this because it just seems to get a little bit more ridiculous. Last year, we had so many injuries, and everything was just awful. We had a coaching staff that knew they had no future, and somehow we won 7 games. I don't know how. Now we got Colin Cowherd saying that this season is going to be a disaster. And is it possible that we'll be a 3-win team?
Here, looking at my notes. We haven't really talked about it, but so they're not playing Matt Stafford. Rams apparently dominated the Cowboys at that practice they had. And then they didn't play Matt Stafford and, controlled the Cowboys when they played in the game. And I have said this, the Cowboys, I think, have one of the weaker staffs. I think the Micah and the Trayvon Diggs noise, these guys they want new deals. And I mean, the Rams are playing Stetson Bennett. Like who, by the way, disappeared, came
and we
back.
played Joe Milton.
I'll throw this out. If I said to you, the 2 bottom teams in the NFL, I think the Giants are going to be one, mostly because of their quarterback situation and their center. I actually like some of their players. Their schedule's brutal. Their schedule's absolutely brutal. They're going to go 0-4 against probably Washington and Philadelphia. At best, they split with Dallas. But I think we would both say the Giants with the schedule and their quarterback situation, it's going to be pretty dire. We know Cleveland and the Saints could be really bad. Dallas may not have playoff wins over the last 30 years, not many of them. Is it possible they are a 3-win team? Is it possible?
I think it's very difficult if Dak plays a lot of games. If you tell me
At least
Dak
somebody
plays
has
15,
got
16
some.
games, even really shitty, they're probably winning 15 or 16, 5 or 6 games. One thing Jerry's proven is they have had guys kind of come out of nowhere, overshown. They actually draft pretty well, so they get some guys. Now
They nail their first-round picks usually.
Yeah, and they get some guys in the mid-rounds that are just solid, some random guy on defense playing safety that you didn't – who's this Deron Bland guy from Sac State, Fresno State transfer? They've been a pretty good drafting team. Hard to overcome, a coaching staff. If you're right, they don't have one of the good staffs. I mean, this guy would not have been a coordinator in the league. Now, some stuff, it's perception, it's the buzz of your candidacy. Are you high or you low? That matters in the NFL or college too. And he was obviously not thought of like he once was, but that's a fact. He would not have been a coordinator in the league. Eberflus, people think he's a good defensive coordinator. Well, they just rehired him because they knew him, because he was coaching on their staff several years ago. Kind of a classic Jerry thing. Micah Parsons, we have some. I mean, Bosa was it 2 years ago, sat out all camp and just wasn't quite the same that season. Even if you're working on your own beside practice in the weight room with the training staff, it's not the same as getting the practice rep. So even if they sign him September 1st and he plays, or I guess they'd probably need to do a little before that because they're playing Thursday Night Football, but the expectation for him would have to be tempered a little bit. And they're depending on a ton of young guys on the offensive line. And that can be very hit or miss. Yeah, when it hits, it's awesome. We saw the Chiefs kind of doing that last year too, and it was like, whoa. So
Well-
it can flip on you quick. So 3 feels I do think they have an infrastructure of guys that have won. Like even when Micah comes back, he's won a lot of games. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, like they got some solid players. But I do think it could just be they could be the last place team in the division if
The last place team in the division. Well, here's where it's, we always hear, okay, so this is what we get. The Cowboys, coaching staff issues and things like that, right? Dak, of course, is a choker, and their offensive line and stuff is not good. So when I saw this from ESPN, this was actually their position rankings, where they've gone through and they've ranked each team's positions group. And as you go through it, they've got Cowboys at 11 with quarterback, one of the highest groups they have. Running back, they have the Cowboys running back group 32nd. Wide receivers, even with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, they have us at 9th. Tight end, they have us at 16. O-line at 17. Interior defensive line at 22. Edge rushing, even with Micah Parsons, at 12. Off-ball linebacker, 28. Damn. Corners at 19. Safety at 18. So what they're saying here basically is you got no team. If you go ahead and do the math, if you take those 10 position groups and divide it by 10, what you end up getting is 18 as far as the talent-wise that they're saying. They say 17. 17 is what ESPN. So how do we look at this and say Dak Prescott and wide receivers are the two best groups? Quarterback, 11, wide receiver, 9. Every other group, edge rusher, we're at 12. Every other group is below average per ESPN. So let me ask you this. How is it that we can say Dak Prescott's got no excuses? I'm asking a real question. How can we honestly say Dak Prescott's got no excuses? Oh, and mind you, they didn't put in there owner and GM. I don't know that anybody's going to say that Jerry Jones is, top 5 GM. I don't. And as a Cowboy fan, we constantly get beat up. Well, Dak Prescott, he's got 2 playoff wins. Do you see what we go against every year? Now, what's going to be crazy is the Cowboys will be better than this. They'll be better than 3-win team. They'll be better than 17th in the NFL. I think they actually have a chance to make the playoffs. I think they have a chance to be better, a lot better than what people believe. But it doesn't matter. If they don't go to the Super Bowl, they'll say you're a failure. But how can you be a failure when they say talent-wise you're 17th? How are you a failure? I just see the Cowboys as the punching bag for the NFL. And it's nuts. But I think we all feel, I have to play this one more time because this is truly how we all feel as Cowboy fans.
out the way.
Okay, let's start Cowboys.
Because I'm with you on that.
Denzel.
Hold on. Don't interrupt him.
I knew I
He
shouldn't
just
have done
said he's with me on that. Elaborate on what you mean by that,
Well,
sir.
to say I'm with you, we must first then know where you are.
That's right.
Where are you?
You know where I'm at.
No, I don't.
Black cat running around that franchise, that Dallas Cowboy franchise. They ain't gonna do anything in the near future. They're gonna lose like they always do when it counts. Boy.
That's true.
That's where
And
I'm at.
your team is who?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Where's your terrible towel?
I don't have it right.
You do it out. That's what happens.
I like Pittsburgh. I don't like what Dallas is doing. I know they're making a lot of money, and I'm happy for the owner, but the fans ain't happy. I've been a fan. I grew up in Mount Vernon, uptown.
Money earning.
The Red Raiders, we were the Red Raiders in the 60s. I was the running back, and we used to shift like the Cowboys.
Landry.
So I said, oh, the Cowboys play like us.
Right.
I've been a Cowboy fan since the 60s. He's making it hard for me. Not to be a fan, because I'm still a Cowboy fan. I'm still going to have the star on the side of the hat. But he ain't thinking about us. He's thinking about his pocket.
Okay. I mean,
How-
says it all.
Get
Denzel,
Jerry Jones on the phone.
Get him on the phone. What does he say? You tell me. What does he say?
He says that
He's
talking
getting
about
rich.
my Cowboys, we're the most successful brand in sports. You know,
You mean in terms of what, championship?
no, of course he can't say championship. He can't say
then what-
championship. He's,
what you
he's
talking about?
talking about recognition, notoriety, dollars and cents.
In sports?
I said, but in the end,
More
you
than the
haven't-
Yankees?
You haven't been in an NFC championship game or a Super Bowl in 30 years. 30 years, okay? And for some reason, he's just stubborn, man. And then you got his son sitting there talking about Michael Parsons like, hey, he got to want to sign the contract. What? Makes no sense, guys. But you know this.
There's box office and there's Oscars. Jerry, been a while, huh? You ain't been to the show, you wouldn't know. Wouldn't been to the show, you wouldn't know.
Uh-oh.
Haven't been to the show, so you wouldn't know what it is to win.
I don't need to add.
I feel like we could end
And
it right
I
there.
love the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys because I really love them. This is the way I feel. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the movie.
And that's why. And I wanted to get back to the movie because you you didn't bring the.
Oh,
Ain't been to the show, Jerry. Ain't been to the show. So, yeah. It all points back to Jerry Jones. It all points back to Jerry Jones. All right. If we have any hope for this season, it's going to be Dak Prescott and his arm, as always. As always. Unfortunately, this is the same formula that we had with Tony Romo. It was either we're going to win with Tony Romo or we're going to lose with Tony Romo, but it's all going to be on his arm. We have literally gotten to that point. So I want to review a little bit of George Pickens from a Dallas Cowboys player's perspective. Shout out to DLLS.
Talk about the competition with the guys, and one thing that Coach Schottenheimer has done that's a little bit unusual, even from my time in the league and your time you've been in the league, where you do more 11 on 11 than you've probably done in a long time in training camps and practice, right? You know, you eliminate the 9 on 7, eliminate the 1 on 1. But when you talk about that good versus good, when you already knew what CeeDee Lamb was as a player, right? Going up against him every day in practice. And now you add a guy like George Pickens from a safety position. How does that translate in your mind when you're looking at that and you're saying, all right, you know, how does that elevate your game when you have to go against two of those dogs like that every day in practice?
As cliche as it sounds, it just takes you back to the discipline part of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, obviously, years before, we had other great receivers too. You know what I'm saying? We had Brandon Cooks. Obviously, we got some young guys that have been playing well for us, JT, JB, a lot of guys like that. But it's like, it just teaches you just to be disciplined with your eyes, because now it ain't like you can go out there and be like, all right, well, we're doing this pair specifically for them not to score a touchdown, so I'm gonna go and I'm just double CD every time. It's like, so it gives us more free room to be, I mean, in my eyes, dangerous on offense, because you know what I'm saying, you seen him make a big catch out there today. He's able to go out there, and he's a playmaker too, like he was on the Steelers, man. He's able to go out there and catch a screen and go to distance, jump ball. He's fantastic with jump balls, contested catches, so he brings so much to the table for you to be like, I'm just lock on CD. That's gonna be tough for a lot of teams this year, especially with guys like Turp too. You know, we got Turp that's been doing a great job playing different positions this camp for us. So it's like, man, they got so many weapons on offense that it's gonna be interesting to see how we, use those guys and see what type of big plays and explosive plays we come up with this year.
So I started off joking about intercepting Dak today and what fans are going to say about it. Like George Pickens, who we just mentioned,
Yeah.
is a guy that if you read things about him before you've met him,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, oh my goodness, so he's a whole psychopath. What's been your experience with George Pickens so far?
It's funny because we talked about that in the DB room. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, obviously we played him, last year I think it was with the incident with him and Jordan Lewis and everything.
It's safe
And
though.
Yeah,
Jordan's gone.
yeah. So it's like you see so much about guys, but I mean, a lot of us being that we're in this profession and we know how a lot of it goes, and sometimes it's either a lot worse than what it is or not as bad as what people think. That it's hard to just be like, all right, I'm gonna judge this guy based off of this small mistake or whatever that he's done, whatever the case. I mean, honestly, with him, I don't know what they were saying was so bad about him, because to me, he's the coolest dude for real. Like, he reminds me of CD a little bit. They kind of just to themselves.
Okay.
They come about their business. They come in there and handle work how they're supposed to. They're professionals, and I mean, from all the stuff that they was making him seem like, as far as a trash talker and the guy that just has a bad demeanor and stuff like that, like I've yet to see it being here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he comes in every day. He's bright-eyed, ready to work. Goes out there and puts his work in when he's out there, and he really don't talk. I mean, I'm sure he talks in his position room, but when we're around each other, like, he really don't talk. He's a cool guy to me.
All right, so there you have it. George Pickens. He's a cool guy. So we'll see what we're going to see, but there's a trend, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. This video is getting a little long. A trend that the Cowboys have had for the last 5 years that unfortunately I don't think is going to change. The problem for the Cowboys is Brian Schottenheimer does like to run. But if we are to take what ESPN and most people are saying, that our offensive line is 18th, 17th, and that our running backs are 32nd, I don't know how you run the football that way. I don't know how well and effective you're going to be able to run the football. It's all going to come back down to Dak Prescott and the wide receivers. That's the bottom line. But, I will still say a lot of people are beginning to kind of turn a little bit on Brian Schottenheimer, but I will look at it and say, give him time. This is a first-year head coach. And I like some of the things that he's done as far as the energy and accountability that he's trying to instill. But make no mistake about it, you get undermined by Jerry Jones. All righty, people.